Okay, last class of organic molecules are nucleic acids. And what are nucleic acids? Well, we call them nucleic because we can find them in the cell's nucleus. Find them in cell's nucleus. We call them acids because they have some acidic properties. So properties of an acid. The monomer of a nucleic acid, or the building block, are called nucleotides. So just like glucose is a building block of starch, nucleotides are the building block for a future macromolecule we'll discuss in a sec. Nucleotides. And nucleotides have three parts. One is a phosphate group. Second is a ribose. Ribose is a 5-carbon sugar. Glucose is a 6-carbon sugar. Ribose is just a 5-carbon sugar. In the third part, it has something called a nitrogenous base. And this is a kind of a complex structure. Oops, let me write base. But we call this a nitrogenous base because it contains nitrogen. So that'd be N on your periodic table. And it also has the properties of a base. So I'll say basic properties. So let me draw one of these nucleotides. So ribose is a pentagon looking structure, unlike glucose, which was a hexagon. And then this would be the 5 carbons right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons. Up here, this is where you can find the nitrogenous base. Again, you don't have to know this structure for now, it's just attached to the sugar. And on this side, we've kind of seen this before, we have our phosphate group. And it can come in this form where it has its protons. This is our phosphate group, but in this form, this is very similar to phosphoric acid because it has our protons to give away, phosphoric acid. Okay, so here would be a ribo from ribose, nucleic. Here is a ribonucleic acid, or the nucleotide for ribonucleic acid. So let's say a nucleotide of ribonucleic acid. So now let's focus on this hydroxyl group right here. There's another type of these nucleic acids, and it's where you remove this OH group. Okay, so here is my sugar, but instead we are missing this oxygen, but everything else is still the same. So nitrogenous base, and up here is our phosphoric acid. So since we lost an oxygen, we call this deoxyribose. Deoxyribose. But everything else is still the same. You have your phosphate group, and you have your nitrogenous base up here. So now if you were to take these units and put them together, this new overall structure you'll create has this name, deoxyribonucleic acid. Deoxyribonucleic acid, or abbreviated to DNA. So now if you take these units and just put them together, you will have something like this. So let's see what we recognize from here. Here are some examples of nitrogenous bases. There's one on this side too. This is my deoxyribose sugar. Deoxyribose sugar. And then this guy up here, this is my phosphate group. So put these together and you make DNA. And DNA carries your information. Whatever you were, what you are now, and what you will be, it's because of your DNA. It's your blueprints. So that's it. One more thing I wanted to mention about proteins is how to test for them. Forgot to mention this before. So one test we have for proteins is called the Burette test. Burette test. And the Burette test looks for peptide bonds. So this looks for proteins, which contain many peptide bonds, looks for protein. The second test for our proteins is the ninhydrin test. The ninhydrin test looks for free amino groups. Free amino groups. So this basically looks for amino acids. But that's it.